Measure of an angle. Angles are made up of an initial side, where the angle starts, and a terminal side, where the angle ends. The intersection point of the two sides is called the vertex. The amount of rotation from the initial side to the terminal side determines the measure of the angle. You can measure angles in radians or degrees. Angles are commonly measured in degrees. Angle measurements are often used in circles, whether it is the measure of an arc or an angle inside a circle. Circles have 360 degrees in them. A measure of 1 degree is equivalent to a rotation of 1/360th of a complete revolution about the vertex. Degree measure is denoted by a small circle superscripted next to the number. If an angle is 4/9 of a revolution counterclockwise from the x-axis, what is its degree measure? To determine the degree measure, multiply 4/9 by 360 degrees. The measure of the angle is equal to 160 degrees. Radian measure angles can also be measured using a measurement called a radian. 1 radian is the measure of a central angle theta that intercepts arc S equal in length to the radius r of the circle. There are a little over 6 radians in a full circle. If an angle is 4/9 of a revolution counterclockwise from the x-axis, what is its radian measure? To determine the radian measure, multiply by a full revolution, or 2 pi. 4/9 multiplied by 2 pi equals 8 pi over 9. Conversions between degrees and radians. Now the two different ways to measure angles are radians and degrees. Since they both measure the same thing, angles, you can convert between the two. While describing directions, you may prefer turn 90 degrees to the left when you pass the music store, rather than turn 2/5 pi radians at that point. Well, if you need to find the area of a sector of a circle, you would like to be given numerical radian measure that you can substitute in the formula. You will need to be able to convert between radians and degrees, as you will not always be given angle measures in the form convenient to you. Okay, here's the key point for the conversions. Do not miss this. You know that 360 degrees is once around, and so is 2 pi. Halfway around the circle is 180 degrees, or pi. Now that you know that 180 degrees equals pi radians, you can use this fact for conversions. To convert degrees to radians, use 1 degree equals pi over 180. To convert radians to degrees, use 1 radian equals 180 divided by pi. Example: convert the angle 11 pi over 3 radians to degrees. To convert radians to degrees, use the conversion factor of 180 degrees over pi. Multiply 11 pi over 3 by 180 over pi. This results in 11 times 180 over 3, since pi will cancel out. You can further simplify to get 11 times 60, or 660 degrees. Now convert the angle 660 degrees back to radians and see if you get back to 11 pi over 3 radians. To convert from degrees to radians, use the conversion factor of pi over 180 degrees. Both 660 and 180 are divisible by 60, so the answer is 11 pi over 3 radians. It can get confusing to remember which conversion factor to use. Also, when doing conversions, make sure to reduce as much as possible. You do not need to use an approximation for pi. There is not a symbol for radians, so if there is not a degree symbol, it is assumed the answer is in radians. You can leave off the degree symbol in the work, but make sure to put it in the final answer that represents degrees. Watching the video a couple of times will be beneficial to reinforce the concepts.